from one vertebra to the next. So these guys are going from the transverse process below to the spinous process above, so you can create rotation and twisting. Multifidi, they tend to jump up 1 to 2 processes, which helps in rotation as well as extension. So each one of these little guys is itty-bitty. There's not manual muscle tests to identify and isolate these, but they're there. And understand that if there is pathology, some of these may help create some of those vertebral displacements that chiropractors are so good at trying to put back in place. But if we don't identify and start working with the musculature, if there is spasms in there, then that's when you start needing to throw in the electromodalities and hoping to loosen some things up. All right, spinous process, we found those. I went off the head.
Not take my ribs because I will laugh.
I'm gonna get tattoos.
There it is. All right, so there's 3 main back extensor muscles.
I'm gonna get tattoos like that.
Nope.
So 3 main back extensor muscles that we're going to help find. At this point, we have iliacostalis, longissimus, and spinalis. These are our primary back extensors.
I ain't never heard of these.
So spinalis, when you're palpating over that groove, that laminar groove, this really is the muscle that your fingers are kind of playing on. If you have them do a raise up, go ahead and do a raise up. Put your finger on the laminar groove, and then have them raise up. You want to go down to the spinous, down to the spinous.
Ooh,
Like
it's pretty freaking cool.
You like that?
Can.
Hey, relax, relax.
Finished playing last night. All right, so that laminar groove, you can put your fingers on, have them do a back extension, have them raise up. Your cobra pose out of yoga, right?
It's pretty cool.
That Kobe pose.
The next ones out are going to be your longissimus, so they're going to pretty much rest on top of the transverse processes and come out and attach and insert into the ribs.
Okay.
And the furthest ones out are going to be your iliacostalis,
Pues a mí siempre me duele aquí.
which are going to come
That's my butt.
considerably lateral to the transverse processes,
siempre
go from
me
the
duele
pelvic
ahí,
rim and the sacrum, the PSIS up and insert into the ribs to help pull you up. So those 3 together are your spinal erectors.
Y aquí.
Your erector set, right? You guys even know what an erector set is? Generation down. All right, and there's my quadratus lumborum. Transverse process is the 12th rib coming down to the iliac crest. And you can palpate that one as well. So, what I want you to do is find all 3 of those, or 4 of those, to the best of your ability. Are they going to be unique identifiably all the time? No. But again, you can kind of get your fingers in the right spots and know where you're at. So,
Sure, here.
laminar groove is going to give you spinalis, especially the thoracic region. Spinalis in through here, especially the thoracic region. Now, in this region, the spinalis dies off a bit, but the multifidi through this region down through here gets a lot broader and takes up some of that slack of the spinalis.
That's on your sacrum, dude.
So in different regions, these muscles are called different things and they act a little bit different way. So, in the lumbar region, we have multifidi. We have spinalis dies off once we get down to about L3, L2. Longissimus is going to run up for that entire length all the way up to the occiput. And the iliacostalis is going to be tendinous fibers through here, but the extensor part through the thoracic spine, the musculature of the thoracic spine is going to help move that and extend the upper body.
I would just seclude longissimus and spinalis.
What?
I would just seclude them from each other.
How would you differentiate them? Palpation. I mean, if you're going to go anywhere, because it's where they're located, but they have the same function. So trying to do a differentiated manual muscle test isn't going to happen, because when one fires, the other will
So
fire.
just palpating?
So palpation, in terms of it hurts right here, well, all right, let me put your hand there and have them do extension or palpate through to identify, is it in that laminar groove, or is it more of the T-spines and lateral, or is it way out like it is iliacostalis? So location of where that is going to be something you're going to expect, not so much manual muscle testing. But you would use manual muscle testing to differentiate between muscles versus, say, rib junction potentially, or ligament support, because if it's hurting only when they're doing manual muscle test, then that's going to help differentiate this one. All right. Shifting up. I'm sure after doing your muscle cards, you guys came across the fact that there's a few muscles in the base of the skull. Just a couple? Yeah, no problem, right? Lots of little boogers. So we're going to cover the main ones that you can somewhat, sort of, kind of get to. And I'm going to group a whole chunk of those
¿Por qué no
as
lo pongo ahí?
suboccipitals.
No lo pones ahí.
Because upon palpation or any other kind of differential test, you're not going to get up and in there. Splenius capitis is the first one. So go ahead and identify. What's sitting on top of splenius capitis? So this is not the most superficial muscle. What is sitting more superficial to this that's been resected in this picture? Traps, right? Upper traps. Upper traps come from this point on the spine of the scapula and it comes up. Now, that being said, the insertion point here is different from the traps. The traps use the occipital line right back through here.
Mm-hmm.
So this splenius capitis is actually running away from, it's running lateral to that occipital line. It's closer to the base of the ear. So how do you want to work on that? How do you want to identify that on palpation?
Go lateral.
You're going to go lateral. So let's pause for a quick second. I'm getting ahead of myself. I want you to switch and do palpations on your partner for the laminar groove and for the three or four spinal rectors. And then we'll go back to this one. I'll be seated to do some of these.
Allá. ¿Qué tal, mío? Ya voy, ya voy. Ya voy. Pero tienes que agarrar. Ahora se lo pasas. Lo pasas a este.
Oh, sorry.
So identify the spinal process. Define C7. We're going down.
Te voy a grabar, ¿ok?
I need 2 tables.
Find the spinous processes, find the laminar groove. What muscles are deepest on the laminar groove? What muscle is superficial on the laminar groove?
It's easier if you put your face down. Like, don't turn your head. There you go. That's a little bit easier for them. I know it's not comfortable for you, but
See your face pillows.
you put your
You got some tight?
yeah, put your hands underneath.
I just worked on my back
Those are
muscles.
Very tight.
Just
It's the
some,
most prominent, right?
Good. So palpate down, find the spinous processes. Reach over to try to figure out where the transverse processes are. I really want you to
See
find
that?
that
Like you're
groove
feeling
between
right.
the two. That's your laminar groove.
Spinous processes. Hold that.
Now, the deepest layer there, you've got multifidi and rotatorius.
And then transfer.
Then sitting on top of that, you're going to have spinalis. If you're in the thoracic region, you've got your rhomboids and your traps covering that up. So there's multiple layers of musculature going on through here.
¿Qué es aquí?
If you go lateral to that transverse process, you're getting up and out of that laminar groove, we're going to end up hitting longissimus. But again, through this thoracic region, you're going to have that buried by 2 more layers of muscles.
Oh, really?
You like the massage? You doing all right?
Yeah, take one.
And then coming out wide, lateral to the transverse process, inserting into the ribs and coming out almost in an arc up and around, you've got iliacostales. Yes, absolutely.
Go back to the spinalis. What were you saying about the spinalis?
You're really tight, like here, super tight. Like I felt really
Aquí?
loose. That's sad.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Was it this one, right?
Extend.
¿Otra vez extend?
For leg releases. You got spinalis dyskinesis. Sorry, I'm done. Right to break it to you. What are some other?
First shot, 175.
That's the one that runs to your false root. That's the one that runs to your false
Yeah,
root.
you should regret
Right
not
there.
going. Look, I was just sure. This is gonna need more. Nice.
¿Qué dijo?
She likes how you do it. I want to take a book and slam it. So I can just pop it.
Sientes cosquillas.
Just to relax
Te quiero enseñar todo.
Sí, al todo, ya. Saca malina. So I was doing, I was trying to.
Alright, so you guys, good and comfy with spinal erectors? If that's the case, then I want you guys to get the person up and we'll get them seated. Probably in a chair so you can be above them.
Yo me siento recién.
No.